I'm going to show you how to make milk kefir. Kefir is the most powerful fermented dairy that we move towards. It's not where we would start more on the GAPS diet because it's very, very strong and it can cause a very big die-off if you're not used to having it. So the best place to start when you're introducing fermented dairy is with the yogurt all the way. But as quickly as we can, we move on to kefir. It has strains of beneficial yeast, which is really great for if you have a yeast overgrowth in your body, candida or something along those lines, and what that will do is crowd out that yeast and bring your body back into alignment. You can make kefir through a culture packet, and that's fine. That's a great place to start if you're not the kind of person that's going to be able to look after your grains. They take a little bit of care each week to look after. It's not difficult, but it's just something you need to do every week. So if that's where you're at, that's fine. I'll show you how to make that a different time, but this is making kefir milk from grains that you keep in the fridge. Once again, you'll need a quality milk. I use the Barumba, unhomogenized and pasteurized. Organic is best, so the best quality milk that you can find. Then you need some kefir grains. You can buy them online, but also they do expand. So if you know someone that does make milk kefir, they're usually very happy to gift you some kefir grains. I always have an abundance, so most of my clients, when they're up to it, get a little batch of kefir grains. This is ones that have been stored in my fridge. They need to sit in some milk, and that milk needs to be changed every week. And this is why some people don't love using the fresh grains, because they need to remember to do that. But it's very quick, and once you get used to using quite a bit of kefir, you'll need to do it weekly anyway to have your amount. So the grains are sitting in there. Once again, always use plastic when fermenting, don't stick metal in there. So there's kind of these big grains in there sitting in a little milk bath. So what you'll need is a plastic strainer, and I have a glass Pyrex dish. So pop that like that. I'll just turn that down a bit so that you can see. Pour that in there, and this is just to separate the grains from that milk that they've been sitting in. So I just give that a bit of a shake, sometimes a bit of a flick through. And what you'll see is these beautiful lumpy grains. They look a little bit like cottage cheese, like that. So that's all you need to do. It's very simple to make milk kefir. Then you need a plastic teaspoon. So this is so for about a litre, you need 2 tablespoons of grains. So all you have to do is then scoop some of your grains into that jar. Like that, pop them in the bottom. Then you pour on your milk on top. It's probably the easiest fermented dairy to make. Fill it right up to the top. I use a plastic spatula, and just, you want the grains to coat all of the milk, so just gently give it a bit of a stir around. Like that. Now the way you ferment the milk kefir is you need some cheesecloth or muslin, and then you just pop that over the top, and then I just pop an elastic band around it like that. The air helps that get through and to ferment. So there you go. That's your little fermenting pot. Now I would do that for 48 hours. Somewhere, depending on how hot where you're living is. I'm in Sydney, so 48 hours for me. What I generally do, you can wrap it up in a towel, or especially if it's quite cold in winter. I've got this little, it's called a swag. It was a veggie storing bag. So what I do is I just pop it in there just to kind of keep it warm. Keep the top open so that the air can sort of flow through that cheesecloth. Wrap him up and then just stick him over in the corner for 48 hours. Once that has finished fermenting, you do the same process. As you get your strainer and you pour it all through, and once again you'll have the grains on the top, and then you'll have your beautiful milk kefir down the bottom. The milk kefir I'll show you the consistency that you're looking for once you've made it. It's kind of like it's like a drinking yogurt. So you would drink it in a glass. So that's what your milk kefir will look like. And then you store that in the fridge, ready to go. So with the grains, once you've strained it, after you've made your milk kefir, we need to then put them back in another milk bath. So grab another glass jar. And label that these are your grains so that you don't try and drink those. Use your plastic spatula and just pop your grains back into the jar. You'll find that over time they get more and more, so that's when you can give them away, or sometimes you get really big ones in there. Those ones you can throw out if they get a bit old. I've had this batch of kefir grains for over a year and they just continue to grow and I give them away. So once you've got your grains then back in your jar, ready to go for the next batch, just the remainder of the milk pour on top, just to cover them. Pop a lid on, and that just gets stored in your fridge until next week when you need to make another batch. So you have your grains and then you have your milk kefir ready to go. Enjoy.